Billionaire investor Jim Mellon, fashion icon Karen Millen, and former chief business officer of Gawdat, Gawdat. Tech entrepreneurs, sporting legends, and global thought leaders. How does JAAQ attract these extraordinary people? And ultimately, how is this shaping the future of mental health? In today's episode, we'll pull back the curtain and introduce you to the man who made it all possible. John Reynolds is a successful entrepreneur, he's a property developer, he's a media personality, and he's also the host of Extraordinary Life Stories. He's an incredible human being. We've worked together across multiple businesses over the last 2 decades, and he is genuinely the best relationship builder and connector of people that I have ever met. He's also a really close friend. We've been on countless fishing trips together all over the world, and we've also been known to battle and wrestle sharks together. But what most people don't know about John is that he has fought a battle behind the scenes and overcome a major fear of public speaking, and I've got a huge amount of respect for how he tackled that challenge and overcame it, and now is just an incredible media personality and television host. Join me for a very special conversation with John. Tell us about your life, John.
Came from just enjoying conversations, getting to know people, learning from people's lived experience, creating authenticity, and trying to be the best version of myself. So you learn from other people, right? Talk with entrepreneurs, talking to people that, I guess you could say we've all got extraordinary stories, right? But just trying to tick that diversity, equality box and bringing all of that into my own ecosystem, and then sharing that with ultimately JAAQ as well, right? It was just working really well.
Absolutely. I think you've always been a phenomenal connector, communicator, just, you know, people meet you and they just like you immediately, right? But actually doing interviewing and speaking wasn't your natural thing, was it? Right? So talk to people about that journey.
Right. So like this is my comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know full well that then to have an audience of 10, 20, 50 people that would literally choke me up. I think the whole idea from Extraordinary Stories was to actually want to have conversations that I was going to have to put myself out of my comfort zone. And so lights, cameras, the whole thing. And I got used to that quite quickly, and that's helped me now with being able to do the public speaking side of things.
Yeah, and I think it's just a testament to anybody watching that, you know, you're going to see behind the scenes, and there's some amazing stuff, and John's a brilliant interviewer. But, you know, whatever you want to do in life, if you set your mind to it and you persist and you get support and you get help, you too could be John Reynolds one day.
You heard it here.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, you've got to put yourself back in your comfort zone. I was definitely in a place where I would get to a point where I would find an excuse. I talked myself out of it, and I became an expert of masking and avoid it. But actually what I was doing was restricting myself. You know, I was missing out opportunities, and you and other people were confused. You know, we go back nearly 20 years, right? You'd be like, why is he not? And I would have a whole different reason to tell you to what was really the truth, which is I was ultimately scared of it.
Yeah.
You know. And then I reached a point where I didn't want to be like that anymore.
And so just how it fits into JAAQ then, what have been some of the value adds from some of the guests you've come on and how they've engaged with JAAQ?
What's been great with the JAAQ scenario is going to people like Gawdat, going to people like Jim Mellon, who have got far more perspective of, dare I say, tech, mental health than I did, and then watching them get excited about it.
Yeah.
So actually then who you're inviting in, there's almost a bit of a mission alignment.
Yeah.
They could be really helpful, useful people that will also benefit from the ecosystem that JAAQ gives back. Like, they're all super happy to have been involved and know what JAAQ is.
Right.
And so by default, we're filming in the JAAQ studio. They've all got to come in and they've got to meet the JAAQ team.
Right. Yeah, no.
Works really well.
I think it's also quite a power, because I was on one of the early episodes, and obviously I know you, but even doing that as somebody that knows you, you get to know them even better. There's a real kind of closeness that you feel with a person, because most people come in, even, you know, I've had Karen Millen, and I remember meeting the billionaire Jim Mellon, and you could sense even he was a little bit kind of nervous, but then when they come out, and I sometimes speak to them afterwards, they're totally relaxed. And so I think it just has a powerful way of accelerating the development and depth of a relationship.
It's a trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm providing a safe space.
Yeah.
I'm not a journalist, I'm not a broadcaster, I'm never aspired to be.
Yeah.
I want to learn from people, and I want to not do anything for clickbait or a quick win to get a load of social followers or achieve something that's very short-sighted. And that's also how Extraordinary Stories is growing organically, because I'm now doing exactly what I was doing out of sight, off camera,
Yeah.
which is always growing my network through referrals, through conversations that have meaning, and then they're recommending me to people.
So who have you been filming with today, John?
So James Collier, co-founder of Fuel, he was a nutritionist. So either you really care about what you eat, and this is where that people say, who's the audience? It's me. It's you. It's like, so I was asking him about how you match up different foods, the whole entrepreneurial journey and story of becoming part of Fuel, and then the success of that, definition of success. I've known him a while, and he came in and found out about JAAQ when I first asked him to come on the LS. He launches his book tomorrow. Alex Packard. That's a nice story, because we clearly know that Alex is firmly in JAAQ now, but that started by inviting him on Extraordinary Stories.
Yeah.
So Montefiore, formerly a cricketer, really interesting story, because a Sikh descendant from India playing for England, first test against India, so all sorts of stories. And he was the first kind of cricketer to really start celebrating, like really passionately, and frowned upon, but Bruno was like, that's what we should be doing, and Kel broke that stigma.
Okay.
And he's cool. And then Luke Tarrant, who I've really enjoyed talking with, because he lost a leg last year in a motorcycle accident, but he's just put out more authentic, real footage on social media, just being him. And he's just built this tribe, a community of loyal followers. And it's almost like, what do I do now? He's just living it in the moment. And it's not putting him down. You know, that could finish some people, and they'd be like, I'm not life anymore. It's only the way he was. No, he's a force of nature. Yeah, we've got Christine McGuinness coming in shortly. I've been in touch with her for over a year now. Just a question of setting up the date. But, you know, from an autistic point of view and ADHD awareness, she's done so much, really. So, married to Paddy McGuinness.
Okay.
She married him. I think she met him at 19, married early. Always wants to be a mum.
Yeah.
But had troubled childhood, misunderstood, classic autism, ADHD, and you know, back to a time when it was only boys that had it and stuff. So you just missed.
Diagnosed early, or she was
Diagnosed late.
Oh, then.
Very publicly then did a BBC, I think it was a BBC documentary. But really, I remember Leslie watching it, my wife Leslie watching it, and just like everyone was talking about it at a certain point. So she was really quite vulnerable and just showed everything into her world of how the fact that it was affecting her, being a mother of 3 autistic children, without knowing she was autistic, because she knew no different.
Yeah.
And it was like, maybe if I've got it, ends up that she does. And now she's just, you know, on a crusade to raise awareness. And you know, there's people living lives that are really challenging when they could actually have medication and education around living better with it.
So I really hope you enjoyed that episode of the JAAQ Journey with my good friend John. John, if people want to watch Extraordinary Life Stories, where can they follow you on socials and watch the program?
Extraordinary Stories is on Instagram, and then Bloomberg. The programs air Saturday mornings 9:30 on Bloomberg TV, and they go out on Spotify at the same time.
Awesome. Thank you, mate. And if you know anyone who needs help with their mental health, please recommend JAAQ.org. Thanks for watching, following. See you in the next one.